Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Phil Carlson, and on behalf of KCSA Strategic Communications, as well as our co-host OTC Markets Group, we're very pleased you've joined us for our last live presentation from BioHarvest Sciences. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Ilan Sobel, Chief Executive Officer of BioHarvest Sciences, which trades on the OTC QB venture market under the symbol CNVCF and on the CSE under the symbol BHSC. Welcome, Ilan.
Thank you, Phil. Very happy to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good evening here from Israel. It's a real pleasure to be able to participate in today's event. My presentation I'm going to be sharing with you for the next 30 minutes, and we'll do our best to create a few minutes for questions. If we run long and we're not able to answer questions, I promise you your questions will be answered within the next 24 hours via myself or Justin Makelem, who is our VP of Investor Relations. Today's discussion is going to focus on how BioHarvest is delivering the next generation of cannabis by solving industry pain points. And by doing this, is going to bring a magnitude of disruption to the industry that the industry has not seen before. As a company, I think it's important to understand that we're now valued as we look at our status today, roughly $100 million US. We are a biotech company that really are the global leaders in plant cell biology, and we're at the cutting edge intersection of three major trends that the world is grappling with: health and wellness, technology, and sustainability. So, we're in the process now of scaling our business, specifically scaling our polyphenol antioxidant vertical in the US, and I'll touch on that in a second. And over the next 6 months to actually start to scale our cannabis business in North America. So for the investors out there, this is a really interesting time to be listening to this presentation, to hopefully be able to catch the journey of myself and our thousands of investor partners out there that are working real hard to build this company into a multi-billion-dollar biotech company. As I said earlier, we are the global leaders in plant cell biology. And we've been doing this for 15 years now. And we're able to unlock the secrets of cellular plant biology better than any other company out there. And we're bringing the world the next generation of science-based therapeutics. We have an amazingly strong IP portfolio, multiple patents across geographies. All our patents are process, utility, and composition. The problem that we're solving out there is a critical problem that the world is grappling with. Mother Nature, as we know, provides the best phytomedicinal active compounds for the human body, which are so important for our overall health and wellness. But we know that Mother Nature is only able to provide this in a highly inefficient way. And when man and technology have got involved, we really have failed to deliver. We're delivering with inconsistency. We're still struggling with pathogens and unclean product. We're dealing with still very high cost levels. And what we're doing, specifically in the cannabis space, is having significant unintended consequences as it relates to damaging the environment. At BioHarvest, over the last 15 years, we've developed a platform technology, and we've invested north of $70 million in this platform technology, which we call bioplant solicitation. And this technology is the only industrial scale platform technology that's able to bring patentable plant-based therapeutic solutions to the marketplace, which do three very important things. Firstly, we maintain the original natural compound structure, so we're non-GMO. We are full spectrum, so we're leveraging the power of all the polyphenols in a plant, or all the cannabinoids that exist within the cannabis plant. We also have a unique ability of delivering a level of consistency that the world has not seen before. And we are repeatable. That consistency is so critical when we're dealing with phytomedicinal compounds. And ladies and gentlemen, we do this without growing the plant. In fact, we just take the plant once. And we take the plant, and through its life cycle, we take cells from the plant. And we have a unique process with all of our know-how, almost like an AI process, to know which cells to take from the plant. And we grow these cells starting in a petri dish with solid media. And then we have a process whereby we're able to grow these cells in massive industrial scale bioreactors, where during a 3-week process, and specifically in the case of cannabis, it's 3 weeks, we are able to grow these cells. And in the case of cannabis, we get the cells to grow the most important part of the cannabis plant, which is called the trichome. And the trichome, as we know, is in fact the mini factory that produces the cannabinoids, the terpenes, and the flavonoids. In fact, in our bioreactors, we grow what we would call bubble hash. In fact, we grow 93% trichomes. That's the level of efficiency that we grow. Every 3 weeks, we are growing, we are in consistent flowering, and we harvest from our bioreactors these trichomes every 3 weeks. More to come on this in a second. But what I wanted to say regarding our technology is that we have fingerprint consistency. We have a unique level of aseptic cleanliness. We're dealing with no solvents. We don't have any pathogens. We don't have any heavy metals because we're in a closed system. We have, and we've just delivered to the marketplace 48 hours ago, a breathtaking, groundbreaking, unique composition that cannot be found in the plant. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit later. And from a sustainability perspective, you will not find a technology out there which has better sustainability credentials versus our technology. And again, I'll double click on some key metrics which validate that. And then from a cost perspective, we deal with 2 levels. One is CapEx, capital cost to build plants, and the other one is the operational manufacturing costs. On the capital costs, you'll see we are able to build factories with a capital requirement which is 1/7 per ton less than for regular indoor cannabis. And in the manufacturing cost side, we are at least 60 to 70% lower than the best producers out there from an overall cannabis flower is concerned. We've validated our technology across already and scaled it across multiple different verticals. Red grapes, olives, pomegranate, and cannabis, which we're going to go deep into during this discussion. Very quickly, our red grape product, which is based on the French paradox, where we're able to grow the critical polyphenols of Piceid resveratrol, where actually when we grow our cells, we have levels of Piceid resveratrol which are 100 times more versus what's found in the grape. And together with catechin, quercetin, anthocyanins, and tannins, all working together in a full spectrum way, we're able to deliver an amazing product that is best in class as it relates to actually driving the dilation of your arteries, increasing drastically blood flow in your body, and improving the oxygen and nutrients that goes throughout your body tissue and organs. Vinia has been launched in Israel, and we're now in a massive scaling process in the US. And we've been able to really demonstrate the power of our technology, validating Vinia today with more than 15,000 customers on subscription. Also, it's important to understand with our technology that whilst we operate in the context of a product like Vinia as a dietary supplement, we also have the ability to move into the important botanical drug space, because our platform technology allows us to remove all the challenges and actual bottlenecks that has prevented companies to move into the botanical drug space. And these include the fact that we have repeatability. We have fingerprint consistency. We're able to patent our composition. We have the purity from unique aseptic conditions. We have safety. We have amazing efficacy because of the solubility and bioavailability of our materials. And we can move quickly and with very, very favorable economics. We today as a company have given guidance to our shareholder partners, and we're delivering on that guidance with our one SKU that we are scaling in Israel and the US. We will deliver $5 to $7 million of revenue this year, and will significantly scale this again in 2023. I want to focus now on cannabis as we really understand the gravity and the magnitude on how we're going to change the industry. When we look and we step back at the industry, we understand that cannabis operators are being impacted and squeezed from every side today. And there are really four key areas where our technology is able to make a significant impact. The first area is we know that prices are dropping. You're seeing massive compression of pricing in the marketplace. And in order to stop this compression, you have to innovate to differentiate. And that means unique composition. And I'm going to talk about that in a few moments. We also know that cannabis companies today are dealing with significant increases in the cost of capital. So we have to really rethink traditional agriculture and come up with much more efficient and smart ways to grow those critical phytomedicinal compounds from the plants, in this case, the cannabinoids. We also know that operators out there are dealing with increased regulation driven by sustainability needs. So it's critical that the technologies that we embrace are able to drive sustainability wins, specifically the challenges around water and electricity and the carbon footprint. And then lastly, but not least, all the cannabis operators out there are dealing with increased costs because of the energy crisis. So we've got to make sure that the technology is able to reduce the overall manufacturing costs and able to really help democratize the benefits of the overall cannabis proposition. And I'm going to go through each of these key areas and show you how BioHarvest is addressing each of these pain points and driving significant disruption and differentiation in each of these areas. This is our process. As I said, we take the plant once, we isolate the key cells, we grow these cells in bioreactors. In the case of cannabis, we're the only company in the world, and I'll say this again, we are the only company in the world that's able to grow the critical trichome in industrial scale bioreactors. We have written literally the Bible as it relates to this, because there's no literature out there on how to do this. And you will see the magnitude of this technology as it comes to life. So firstly, let's look at composition. As I said before, we grow 93% trichomes. On the left-hand side are trichomes from an actual plant. On the right-hand side is BioHarvest, 93% trichomes. And you can see our trichomes have a much greater density, 100 to 200 times the density of trichomes versus the plant, which is why we call this bio bubble hash. We have unique cannabinoid levels and ratios that have not been seen before in the cannabis plants. And I'm going to talk more about this in a second. And our technology allows us to actually have unique capabilities to do two things. Number one, we're able to tune our cannabinoids. And secondly, we are able, as you'll see in a second, to unlock rare minor cannabinoids that, if you looked at a regular certificate of analysis, are not detectable in the plant. And let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to share with you our first proof of concept, which we released to the marketplace on Tuesday with an amazing response from our investor partners and significant interest from major media houses, as we've seen literally multiple articles going across regular newspapers all the way through to the High Times and specific cannabis inventory. I think the best way to start this is to share a quote of a third party that's looked at this cannabis composition that we launched to the marketplace, and that's the words of Dr. Christopher D'Adamo, who is the director for the Center of Integrated Medicine at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. And obviously, I think everybody understands that the medical establishment has been really eyeing the potential of full spectrum cannabis to address many chronic health conditions. And what you can see, what Dr. Adama has said here, is that our unique composition is able to really combine high levels of major cannabinoids, all produced with obviously a unique degree of consistency, together with the minor cannabinoids, is a breakthrough towards the development of efficient cannabis-based botanical drugs. So let me show you what that means. We took an initial plant, and we actually purposefully took a plant that had very, very basic performance. You can see this plant was a hemp plant. We started with a hemp plant with 3% overall cannabinoids, of which most of that was in CBD. And look what our technology was able to deliver. We increased the number of cannabinoids by 12 times. We increased the THC by 83 times to a 7.5% level. CBD, very high at 18%, we increased 6.5 times. And you can see when it comes to the varins, CBDV, THCV, 88 times and 249 times respectively. And you can understand when you look at this certificate of analysis, the magnitude of what we've been able to do really demonstrates the power of our technology. And just breaking it down, you can see significant levels of THCV and CBDV, which is extremely rare by themselves and have never seen before together in a full spectrum composition. And as many of you know, CBDV isolate, THCV isolate can be sold today anywhere between $35,000 and $45,000 a kilo. So this is a potential opportunity for us as we look at the applications, one of the applications of this unique composition. Importantly as well, we have high levels of both CBD and THC. And importantly, a very unique ratio of CBD and THC of 2.5 to 1, which is very, very rare in the industry and really allows us to address a number of very important medical indications. In addition to turning the minor cannabinoids into like major cannabinoids and already the strong levels of THC and CBD, we also have CBN, CBC, and CBG. And this profile of cannabinoids, this overall profile of cannabinoids in a full spectrum composition really fits a number of major indications for medicinal cannabis, including anxiety, ADHD, pain management, arthritis, inflammation, and obviously challenges as far as insomnia is concerned. And we can see, when you look at the critical medical indications that medicinal cannabis consumers are utilizing cannabis for, you can see in the blue are the key indications that this specific composition we believe will be very successful at targeting. Our unique trichomes, and you can see here, this is a picture of the trichomes as they've been actually dried themselves. This gives us the opportunity to actually deliver the benefits across multiple different vehicles, whether it's flower itself, whether it's vaping, whether it's concentrates, all the way through to pre-rolls. This form can work across all traditional and some new form factors to provide an excellent delivery mechanism, including capsules as well. We're working right now as a company very aggressively on the right partnerships to drive a very fast path to get this composition into clinical trials to really be able to validate the power of this proposition as it relates to addressing a number of the medical indications that I've touched on. In addition, this first strain is a great strain to have in major recreational adult use markets, as well as large medicinal markets. Think Florida, 700,000 people. Think Pennsylvania, 650,000 people, $1.5 to $2 billion market. And we are currently heavily engaged in partnership discussions in North America and Israel, making sure we find the right partner to match our overall compositions in the right markets to get the right kind of partnership deal with an anchor partners that will be partnering with us literally for the next 15, 20 years as we continue to evolve our technology in this space. What's important to understand is that the strain, because it starts with hemp, also allows us to play to win in hemp. And I'll give you a few examples. And what's interesting is we've already built a massive commercial machine with our Vinea product in markets like the US, where today we can leverage all of this knowledge because 40% of sales are online in the hemp market. So when we take this proposition, and specifically if I highlight what's unique about this proposition, is the ratio of CBDV to CBD, which is literally CBD to CBDV, I should say, is 4:1. Very unique ratio. Find me a product out there that has this ratio. And we can extract the CBDV and CBD from this composition. We're left with an amazing product. And just to kind of share a visual, really shares, 1,000 words of what this kind of product that we are looking to bring to market next year looks like. Here we have our BioHarvest Sciences CBD to the power of V, combining that CBD and CBDV in a 4:1 ratio. Obviously going after and addressing a number of important health awareness areas as it relates to inflammation, as it relates to helping people sleep, as it relates to anxiety. And then we can couple it with our immense know-how as being a best-in-class scientific powerhouse in the polyphenol antioxidant world and bringing the power of these two worlds together with BioHarvest Sciences VCBD to the power of V. And so this is some of the thinking that we're looking forward to bring to the marketplace. We also have 2 high THC strains that we're working on, that we're putting through our system, and we're looking forward to share the outcomes of this as we bring broader full cannabis, full spectrum propositions with high THC to the marketplace, end of this year, early next year. And now I want to just talk very quickly about the 3 other key areas. Firstly, when it comes to overall capital, we just built a facility, $45 million facility for our polyphenol antioxidant vertical, 1,200 square meters, which is about 12,000 square feet, north of 30 metric tons of production per year. And we did this literally $45 million. This is 7 times less than what it would cost for the same facility if you were using indoor cannabis. It's the same platform technology that we use for polyphenols. We use the exact same technology for our cannabis, the growth of our cannabis. From a sustainability perspective, we all know all the challenges we're dealing with. We were super excited to really have our sustainability capabilities validated by the Business Intelligence Group 2020 Sustainability Leadership Award that we won with some very highly esteemed peers, AstraZeneca being one of them. And that's because from a water productivity, we produce literally 54 times more grams of dry flower per gallon of water versus indoor. Electricity, 8 times more grams of cannabis per kilowatt versus indoor. Production intensity, 19 times more grams of dry flower per square foot of canopy. Carbon intensity, 8 times less pounds of electricity-based CO2 equivalent per gram. Okay, and then from a COGS perspective, as I said earlier, we're in literally continuous flowering. We harvest every 3 weeks, which is very unique compared to the regular, much longer cultivation cycle. And we are able, literally, if you compare ourselves versus indoor, looking on a per meter basis. One bioreactor pretty much is 1 square meter. You look at 1 square meter, which is the same area of 1,000 watt light. 5 kilos per meter per year versus 112 kilos. That's your 19-20 factor I touched on earlier. And that generates a 60 to 75% overall reduction in cost versus industry standards from a scale when we're in full scale. So we have a great team around me with amazing experience and pedigree. We have fantastic advisory board supporting the company with the likes of Colonel Chris Hadfield, who is probably the most famous astronaut living right now, captain of the International Space Station, some very highly esteemed doctors as well on our advisory board. And really, ultimately, I want you to leave this presentation. I'm going to leave a few minutes for questions. BioHarvest Sciences is a purpose-driven company. We have amazing God-given platform technology to bring the power of the plant kingdom to the people. No other company has these capabilities. We're a purpose-driven company that's applying this technology to bring the next generation of therapeutic solutions to the market. And we're a purpose-driven company that's doing this in a way which preserves the planet for generations to come. That's my father, Eric, and my oldest son, Joshua. And again, as a purpose-driven company, we've got to make sure we're bringing the best health and wellness solutions as we unlock the secrets of cellular plant biology from the thousands of plants today that have amazing utility value, that are under-leveraged and utilizing these critical phytomedicinal compounds in a consistent way and bringing it to people in unique therapeutic solutions to totally transform their health and wellness. Okay, I got like 3 or 4 minutes for questions. All right, let me start at the top. Okay. Firstly, can I comment on the type of companies that we are in discussions with? Okay. We are in a number of, I would say, intense discussions. These are companies that can help us deliver on our aspirations to drive transformational human utility value, which is driving a transformational positive change in people's overall health and wellness. These include your multi-state operators. They also include companies that are able to be a critical bridge to be able to allow us to go into the research market very, very quickly with our cannabis and to be able to bring the power of our cannabis to the marketplace in order for partners to be able to work with us to unlock the potential as it relates to medical indications. So we're working with companies that have the same value, the same purpose-driven approach, and the companies that can be long-term partners that can help us scale our technology in this area and really win from an operational execution perspective in the marketplace. Next question. Can you speak to our IP portfolio? Thank you, Jessica. We have an amazing IP portfolio. It's been very well planned, very well thought through. We have literally multiple patents across multiple critical jurisdictions. All of our patents are process, utility, and composition. So they're very, very extensive. We have patents in key markets like USA, Canada, Europe, even in markets like China. We've been granted patents. But I want to tell everybody something very, very important that I think many of you understand. Our patents are important, and are very well thought through to protect us. However, what's most critical is the know-how that we've developed from 15 years with the best PhD plant cell biologists who've worked with us for all of these 15 years, who've been able to really unlock secrets of cellular plant biology and have really built the Bible in this area that we guard very, very carefully as it relates to our know-how. Okay, do we expect to be able to supply both medical and recreational cannabis at the same time, or will you need to choose one or the other? We believe with the partnership discussions that we're having, we will be able to walk and chew gum, as they say, focus on the medicinal side, and where appropriate, focus on the recreational side. Lee Rosenberg, very spirited presentation. Thank you, Lee. As a current shareholder, thank you. Would you please review the actual financial results to date as well as a timeline for previewing the touted cannabis solution. So basically, as a company, we're very, very focused on turning the business to a break-even position by the end of 2023. We also focused on getting to a positive cash operating perspective by the same period. We believe with the success that we're seeing as it relates to the scaling of our VINIA business and the massive focus that we are applying on cost reduction as we scale, that business will have very, very healthy margins to be able to help drive us to that break-even position, whilst at the same time investing the required capital that's required to start to scale our cannabis business in the US. That's what we're very much focused on. What's also interesting is that as a company in 15 years, we've invested so far about $68 million US over literally a 15-year period. We believe that it's going to take no more than 12 to 15 million more dollars in order to get to that break-even proposition, which means that roughly for between 80 and $85 million as a biotech company, we will move to those critical financial metrics. And I would just challenge people out there to find me another biotech company that's been able to do that for less than $100 million. I'm going to take the next question from Matteo. What is your timeline to commercialization of your cannabis initiatives? What type of partners are you looking for in cannabis space? So I think I've touched that a little bit on the partnership discussions. As far as timeline is concerned, we're now anxiously waiting for our licenses from the Ministry of Health in Israel. Those licenses will allow us to move very quickly. We're hoping that within the next 3-4 months, we will have those licenses. And then obviously from a US perspective, it's landing those partnership deals that we're making great progress on. And I would hope that we would be in the market in H2 of next year in the US, basically with those partners focusing on the priorities of the company as it relates to both hemp, as it relates to basically cannabis in medical, recreational side, and then obviously driving our clinical trial agenda as we look to take our cannabis proposition, which is unique because of obviously the breadth of the composition, the unique cannabinoids, full spectrum effect, but importantly, the consistency that allows us to move the product, we believe, into the botanical drug world. Okay, I think I've been told to sign off, so I'm going to stop now. Thank you, everybody. Like I said, Justin and I will make every effort to ensure all your questions are answered, and thank you for your interest. Very much looking forward to bringing on board more shareholder partners at this critical juncture in the growth of this company. Very exciting times. Thank you and have a good day.